vegan food last night?
What a beginning, first of all. And it was like 5 in the morning, and I was just wasted. And there was an all-night Indian place on Grubhub, and I ordered like a lot and then fell asleep. It was I woke up and was like, I can't believe that was real.
And it never came. And
They called me multiple times, and I just slept through it.
Had you already paid?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a win for them.
Oh, man. How much did you pay? How much did you get?
It was like a $30 order.
What did you get?
I got a lamb vindaloo, a mango lassi, and garlic naan.
What is a mango lassi?
It's like this yogurt drink that they have that like neutralizes the spice.
Wow.
It's really
That
good.
is a ballsy order for a sober person at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, it's not really. I've never considered it to be a breakfast food before. But
you know what's weird is I had a similar thing, but it was my roommate, I think, who had ordered like a large Chinese food order and assumedly was passed out in her room because I texted her and like knocked lightly on her door and the lights were on, but she just wasn't there, so I just put it in the fridge.
Oh, well, so that worked out better than what happened with me, where I just wasted this poor delivery driver's time.
Yeah.
I like spicy food a lot, and I like to eat Thai, like Thai hot, and they're always a little bit, there's a I don't want to say racism, but they're prejudiced because I'm white, and I'll be like, I want a Thai hot. And they're like, oh, it's very hot. And I'm like, no, I know. That's why I'm here.
And they're like, I don't think you understand.
Yeah.
You're white.
And then, but the thing is when I eat it, I'm disgusting because it like, the nice thing about it is it doesn't have that like bitingness, you know what I mean? It doesn't fuck with your throat. But then I just start pouring sweat and pouring, and I'm like the most disgusting person. So I have to apologize profusely every time I do it, but I still do it.
To whom you're eating with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the restaurant.
So, I'm sorry.
Everybody.
Sorry for being here.
I like that too, though. I like especially specifically clearing your sinuses. I love, especially when you're sick, if you get anything super spicy and it just melts away
that's great.
your sinuses. It's such a relief.
One of my claims to fame, I ate 24 jalapenos on Facebook Live. I don't know if you guys know my
remember
oeuvre.
that.
Thank you.
Was it Flama? Was the
Yeah,
Did we
Flama.
say it by name? Flama.
Yeah, the Flama, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people say La Flama. It was the Flama.
La Flama.
It's, but jalapenos, don't recommend them.
Danny, can
you have? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask, why did you do that?
I need help.
Yeah, content, baby.
Yeah. We would do these Facebook Lives, and I don't really know. I know that some Facebook Lives, I feel like I haven't seen any that are successful now, but do you guys remember, like, I guess in the digital media world, it was like the BuzzFeed one that was a hit was like, we're going to put rubber bands on a watermelon until it bursts, and that went viral. So then we were like, we need to do Facebook Lives, and nobody ever had any idea that was good. Like, we all hated everything, and then I was like, well, I'll hurt myself, and everyone's like, that would be funny for us. And then it wasn't really, it was funny, but it was more shocking because everyone was like, yeah, I tried to watch it. Kind of made me sick. And
let me ask you, not to get too vulgar, but how did that feel coming out the other end?
It felt like a nightmare at the Pit.
Really?
I had a stand-up show that night that was after a sketch show.
Oh my God.
No.
Yeah, and it's called a battle sketch.
So there really was like fallout from it internally.
Well, it was just an urgency. I think it's a lot of plant matter. I haven't eaten a salad for several years, so I was in the show and I was like trying to watch the show to be nice, and then. But the thing is, I knew where I was going to go up at the end after the sketches. So just as the third sketch went on, I'm right after that. I was like, oh, I got to shit right now. Like, this is an emergency. Then I went up to the top bathroom and I was like waiting, and there was someone in the stall and I could see his feet. So I like waited, and I'm like doing that kind of thing, like freaking out. And so I was like, you know what? There's got to be another bathroom in the back. There's got to be go to the back. And just as I'm walking in, a guy walks in front of me and just nabs it. And I'm like, I guess
no.
That was a clean nab. So I'm doing like, yoga, essentially leaning against the wall, like trying to elongate my intestines. And I knock like one of those like cop knocks on the door, just boom, boom, boom. And I'm desperately waiting. I'm like dying. I'm dying. And like finally, like I'm literally like, what's that called? Like groundhogging. I peed myself like a tiny bit. You know what I mean? Like,
oh my God.
No,
it's
like
poking out. Yeah.
It's poking out. Like excruciating pain to hold this in. It needs to go. The guy opens the door and he's like, there's another bathroom right next door. And I'm like, I wanted to fucking kill him.
Now, was this on Facebook Live as well?
Yeah, it was. So we ran the whole camera crew followed me the whole day and to watch me. But it was one clean, massive feast. It was pretty gross, but it burnt a little bit, but not a lot.
Sure. Those are the best poops though, where it just comes right out.
It was pretty. Yeah, it was clean.
Yeah. So technically, that's the first salad you've had in years. It's just 24 jalapenos.
24 jalapenos. And I feel hypocritical talking about this because I just had a big deal. My friend keeps sending me pictures of his poop.
Why?
I don't know. He's like a fitness guy, and I was like, listen, this has got to stop.
Yeah.
Like, no more of this. And he hasn't really talked to me since then. Like, he's really upset with me. And
I feel pretty comfortable with, like, poop and poop humor. But that, for me, even, is like, oh, that's too much. Don't do that.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Every other day? I'm not crazy to be offended by that.
No, I would be very grossed out, and I would honestly, I might just block his number to be.
That, almost more than, like, the smell of somebody having taken a fresh shit in a toilet, seeing their poop, that's too much.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
And just to backtrack a little, I love the idea of like Danny like being out to lunch with people. It's like, oh, what are you gonna get? I'll just have a salad, and then he eats 24 jalapenos.
just dripping sweat. Good salad.
This is great.
He's halfway
Can I get
through.
another
He's
towel?
Like, do you have any ranch?
Oh, jalapenos and ranch. Good Lord.
No, he's just like, no, the dressing makes it unhealthy. I eat them straight.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've eaten habaneros too. Those are pretty hot. That's what I like about Thai food. I don't know anything about what pepper they use, but a habanero will like legit kind of fuck you up.
Yeah, if you're not
you
careful.
know? Yeah, and that's not fun.
Uh-huh.
I was once at a party with like a pepper eating contest, and I don't know what it was called, but it was like very, very hot. And I like have never really ate peppers, but wanted to show off, so I just like shoved a bunch of them in my mouth at once. And like downed a bunch, and then it immediately hit me, and I lost my mind. It was so hot, and I like knew that like milk neutralizes it. So I go into the freezer, and they don't in the fridge there's no milk. And then I go in the freezer, they have ice cream, so I'm eating it, and the ice cream's not helping. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I had like so many containers of what turned out to be vegan ice cream that did nothing. So I just like stole a bunch of like the party host food.
Yeah. Supposedly milk, right?
Yeah, lactose. I don't know. I think it has to do because capsaicin is pretty interesting. It like your brain actually thinks your mouth is on fire.
Really?
So it has. That's why it feels good because it sends out endorphins. So it's like exercising. That's what exercising is like.
Yeah.
If you guys want to find out,
just eat a lot of peppers. You don't have to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Every time I exercise, I have to take a massive shit at the People's Improv Theater.
Well, and so somebody told me once, too, that a lot of peppers are a good source of vitamin C, and so that's why people do have a lot. Some people like are born with like, oh, it's spicy, oh, I like it. It's because your brain is like, oh, I'm getting vitamin C that I needed.
Really? I've never heard that. Vitamin C theory?
That makes sense.
Maybe it's wrong. I don't know.
The other weird thing about peppers, so they're from the New World.
Yeah.
You know, like South America.
You're a very old world guy.
I'm an old world guy.
Some people like the Americas. I'm not sold.
But just like, well, that's a weird thing about Italy is like tomatoes are from the New World, but like Italy, pizza, like I picture tomatoes as like an Italian thing, but they're not. They now are.
I don't know why, but there's something. It just sounds very wrong for me to imagine you going to like Chile and being like, "Oh, the New World," like that. Something.
I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, go ahead. I had nothing.
No, tomatoes are a New World thing?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Tomatoes, peppers, a couple of the other ones. Potatoes?
Potatoes.
I'll take your word.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They brought back the potato.
Mm.
And then Ireland, latched onto that.
Yeah.
A little bit too much.
And syphilis.
Honestly.
Or no, maybe I think they brought syphilis
They brought
over.
syphilis here, yeah.
Yeah.
Fidget spinners? That's a New World thing?
Yeah, that's New World.
World's worst trade. Syphilis for potatoes.
Yeah, I used to know about some of that stuff, like what killed all the Native Americans, horses. That was at a disadvantage they had. But it was mainly disease.
Wait, horses killed all the Native Americans?
Horses were a big tactical advantage back then, David.
Oh, so you mean like the fact that they had horses allowed, okay.
Not like just roving packs of horses running over a village.
Or just like disease that the horses may have brought. I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Yeah, horse flu.
Did Europeans bring horses with them as well?
Yeah, they had the horses.
I am learning so much.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, dude. The New World really was like pretty different from Europe. Like, so Like the Peruvians were a huge ass empire. They had all the gold, like the Inca, but they had llamas, which a llama is it's kind of like a mini horse.
Yeah.
So like if you could ride a llama, but you really like
it's not great.
It's not great.
Yeah.
It's not really fully.
Tried to ride a llama.
But the llama advantage is that they can. Their horses don't climb steps. That's actually true. It's not just a stereotype.
A stereotype.
It sounds crazy.
These horses climbing steps.
It sounds just as crazy as saying like, well, black people can't swim, horses can't climb stairs.
No,
like,
those
that's
are
crazy.
Horses, bad drivers can't climb steps.
But I guess it's true, but they didn't know that. The Incas didn't know because they could have used like llama tactics and like gone up because they built all those stairs up Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
They could have really fucked those horses up. But
You ever been to Machu Picchu?
I haven't.
No?
Have you?
No.
No.
Have you?
Carmen went. My girlfriend went. She loved it.
Well, David was telling me about this crazy thing he did, right? That was you who went to Iceland.
Yeah, I mean, that's not quite Machu Picchu, but it was a nice trip.
It was a place outside of the U.S., so that counts.
It's Old World. And
It's old world.
Old Iceland.
Technically old world.
yeah. No, the coolest thing I did there was they have maybe the only or one of the few dormant volcanoes that didn't have lava hardened to the top. So you can go deep inside. And
In the volcano?
Inside of the volcano.
You're crazy. My God.
I
would lose my mind.
No, it really does fuck with you because we evolved, our brains evolved for like flat surfaces and like being on land. So when you're inside of a volcano and it's the geometry is completely different, you start to like go get dizzy and like it's weird. It's like a low level high or something.
So you're like deep in the volcano.
Oh yeah. What? There's like water.
Is it active?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not. It's got like a.
This is a nightmare for me. How you describe it.
Is it active? Yeah, there's a fire pit below you. You gotta be careful. Don't fall in.
You got to walk across. And
So,
Yeah,
is there anything you can liken it to, like being in that inverted shape or whatever, like that shape of the volcano? Like you say dizzy, or is it disoriented, or like?
Because it's like roundish in there, and their slopes are like constant. Like there's no real flat area where you get your bearings. So there's like and there's deeper ditches, and things are poking out at all weird angles. Water drips up from like the top of the volcano that was from rain from like 100 years ago and shit that just finally filtered through all the rock. It's so that was a lot of fun.
So there's no clear bottom. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Sort of like, I don't know how deep it goes. They had us all wearing little hard hats and stuff, and I went as far as I was comfortable. But it's more like okay, so we are on a flat floor right now. Imagine if this whole thing was bumpy with like weird dips and then like rock formations come popping up everywhere at angles you wouldn't expect. It's like it's really cool.
there's no consistency, is what you're saying.
Yeah, no consistency whatsoever.
I don't want to go. I'm done.
You're not sold on the volcano?
It sounds terrifying.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
But they lower you into it at just this like window washer's pulley.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yes. It doesn't feel safe at all.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I have a big heights thing too. I'm just fearful of things. In general, I'm a fearful person.
Oh, yeah, I got a big fear of heights.
Yeah.
But it's no, if you're ever in Iceland, do it.
How old were you when you went?
This was a couple years ago.
Okay.
And there's this airline called Iceland Air where it's to bring tourism to Iceland. You can fly anywhere in Europe but do like a week-long layover in Iceland, and then there's all this cool nature shit there. Oh, man. So what sold me on it was this volcano tour.
Danny.
Danny's
gonna go.
That's how this came up, because I was like, my girlfriend wants to go to London. I want to go to Japan because I think that's more interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I love the idea of being in a place and really, really not being able to communicate and ordering food and I love
finding
that.
out.
What's the Japanese term for 24 jalapeno peppers?
But yeah, David told me about that deal, which is, I think, pretty funny too. It seems kind of desperate on Iceland's behalf, but
It worked.
It's cool.
Tourism was what pulled them out of the crisis in 2008.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Also, you are not the first person that I have heard like, oh, I went to Iceland and I had a great time.
It's a great place. It's like a little expensive, but the nature is just insane. Like
Isn't there a thing of like Iceland is actually green and Greenland is actually ice? Can you confirm that?
Yeah, that. I mean, I've never been to Greenland, but Iceland had a lot of green, but it wasn't like grass. It was like moss or whatever that grows on these old like volcanic rocks and shit.
Holy shit!
So it goes on for like miles.
They should call it Mossland.
They should call it
Nice.
Mossland.
Sick burn.
Yeah. Suck it, Iceland. Do you have a big listenership in Iceland?
Oh yeah, we get a lot of Iceland people tune in. They're gonna probably tune out because they don't want to hear about the fucking volcano.
I
They're
thought
like,
this
ugh.
conversation was natural. Now I know it's all geared towards.
What's the most exotic place you've been to?
Oh man, Spain. Yeah, Spain. But can I tell you this? We went for Christmas one year, my family, because my brother studied abroad there when he was like I think a senior in college, and I was only like 13, and I would not recommend going to Spain when you're 13 because I think there's like a pretty vibrant nightlife there that you just can't enjoy.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of museums and churches, which I think would also be interesting if I wasn't 13. I wish I could go back now, but at the time, I don't know. My dad bought me a sword. I got a sword.
Ooh.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, somewhere I have a sword. I don't know
I
where
feel
it
like
is.
being young and traveling is not good because you're just too stupid. I was too stupid at least. Like I hated New York when I visited. I hated museums. None of it's exciting because you don't have any real context either. You're like, oh, this is how they do things. People here. Well, that's fucking dumb.
Well, I never left the country as a kid with my family because my dad, and I'm not making this up, was still angry at Europe for World War II. And
How old is your father?
He's in his 60s now. He's since gone to Europe, but for my childhood, he just refused to go there.
But
First
he
of
was
all,
born at like after World War II.
I know. He really holds a grudge.
And he's mad at all of Europe, not even countries that weren't involved. He's like Switzerland, fuck them.
France. Ugh.
Exactly. Well, especially France. He felt like they just keeled over to the Nazis, so he wasn't going to grace them with his presence.
It's so funny to me
Belgium.
that he has hard opinions on a thing that happened before he was born.
Exactly. Yeah. It was we wouldn't go. So our kind of vacations were like to Hershey Park, and we went there a lot. But that would be like the most exotic place I'd been to until I like left the country on my own.
Volcano, Hershey Park.
Yeah.
Big drop off.
Both have their merits, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I've not done a lot of good exotic travel, but the way you describe the volcano reminds me of this place, town. Casa Grande has these old domes in it. They're just called the domes.
The domes?
Yeah, and they really are bizarre. And I would say the biggest one is about the size of a gymnasium. And the mythology around it is that it was going to be a software company. It doesn't really make sense. There's not really windows or anything. I don't know what these domes were for.
Wait, these were built or they're natural?
They're built. No, they're not natural at all.
Okay.
That's the most Danny Vega sentence I've ever heard. We don't know what these domes were for.
Well, people say they were for a software
Like they're
company.
Stonehenge?
Yeah. Nobody knows.
That's what people think Stonehenge was for.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
it for a software?
They have a little cubicle underneath each one. How may I help you? Welcome to Stonehenge. Yeah, we would just go there, and then they have a weird history. So there's like a website online that chronicles these things, and one of my favorite stories is that I guess somebody bought the domes for I don't know how much money. I mean, they're not worth any. You can't live in them or really do anything with them. But they park their truck in the middle of a dome. And they locked the dome technically, but it's like made out of like cardboard styrofoam shit. Like you could kick it and damage it, or you could definitely take like a bat and damage it.
Yeah.
Anyway, immediately their truck was stolen and they just lost their truck. And they were like, oh, these domes. It's like, why did you buy a giant white dome in the middle of the desert?
Domes. That's really funny to me.
Did you grow up in Twin Peaks, like some sort of David Lynch scenario where there's these domes that no one knows why they're there?
You know, I would agree with that, except like Twin Peaks is so dark and Arizona is so bright that it hurts like 18 hours of the day. So it's hard for anything. Like, I feel like I could be brutally murdered in Arizona and it would be sad, but it just wouldn't really feel sinister.
Where is Casa Grande in relation to other parts of Arizona?
The two biggest cities are Phoenix and Tucson, and it's in between them.
Oh, okay.
It's a Walmart
So
town, you know?
Southeast Arizona, almost? Kind
Yeah.
of? Okay.
That sounds right.
Yeah. The southeast quadrant.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't even really know, to be honest with you. I'm just saying yes.
Isn't Casa Grande Spanish for big dome?
Yes, it is. That's
Okay.
correct.
Yeah, all right,
Do
fantastic.
you hate Arizona or do you like Arizona in retrospect?
I don't understand why anyone would live anywhere but Arizona unless they have dreams. Like, it's so cheap. Driving is so easy. Driving in New York is a fucking joke. Like, the BQE, I'm obsessed with this fact. Because, car to go? It's like a temporary car rental you can do. Sometimes it's cheaper than Uber.
Like Zipcar, but different.
It's like Zipcar, except you can park it wherever you want.
Oh, okay.
So I'll take this car to go to like Coney Island. It's only like $20, and Uber would be like $60.
Really?
Yeah, it's a pretty good deal. Anyway, yeah, guys, get on car to go. My referral code is Danny Vega is bad at comedy. Okay. The BQE, if your car breaks down, it's a 3-lane highway. Do you know what happens if your car breaks down on it? You just got to park in the middle of the road. There's nowhere for you to put your car.
Oh, yeah, like no shoulder.
There's no shoulder.
Yeah.
So it's like if that happens, and it does every day, there's just horrific traffic all day. And that's why the BQE has never not been all red on Google Maps.
Yeah.
Like,
it is a huge hassle.
it's a huge hassle. In Arizona, I'm not exaggerating, there are just 8-lane highways, and they're like, sometimes there's traffic, but very rarely. It's so nice.
Oh, my God. That's, the BQE has been, like, backed up since I've been alive. Like, I grew up in New York. It's never
I didn't know that. You grew up here.
Yeah.
And it's always been a nightmare.
It's always been a
Are you
nightmare.
from the city or the state?
Long Island.
Long Island.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, I'll see myself out, guys. Yeah, but it's been, and the way the roads were built, I don't know if you're familiar with like Robert Moses and stuff, but he was this major political player who's responsible for all the infrastructure in New York State, and in some ways he was a genius for getting all this stuff built, but he was also a tremendous racist. So like a lot of that stuff with the roads that don't make sense because he built them to screw with black people, and like that was it.
That's fucked up.
Oh my
I know.
God. Isn't there a thing, I've heard this before, of like, obviously it's the highways in Manhattan go around like the coasts, and that's stupid because that's like the best land, at least now. I think that's kind of a modern thing, but like, wasn't that his doing, and like wasn't that racism? Because that's also where the projects are. They're like the Lower East Side
like the
projects
other
is
side
huge.
of
It's like,
the
well,
FDR,
it's
there's
beachfront
a lot of-
property. What are you doing? Like,
Yeah, probably. I don't know that much about him, but I know those two things.
the other racist infrastructure thing I've heard is that the Green train, the 6 train, I think it's like super deep. It's like super deep at some point, and that was on purpose because they didn't want people from Harlem and the Bronx coming up to like the Upper East Side, like the rich part of New York, the really rich part, like where the billionaires live.
So they made the stations. That's actually very true. All those you do have to climb up like 4 or 5 flights. And
Yeah, it's like an
Whoa.
insane number.
It's pretty crazy.
They wanted minorities to be underground like
They're
that.
like, maybe they won't come up. If
Yeah.
That it would disincentivize people from coming up, I guess. That's what someone told me.
Wow.
I don't know if it's true.
What was I going to say? My dad always sends me articles about about how like so casually he'll like call and be like, "How's New York going?" And he's like, "It's going to end up underwater one day." And it is. He sent me so many articles, and it is like scary where they're talking about like obviously our weather systems are getting fucked up due to like global warming and stuff like that, and we're having bigger and bigger storms, and the city is just trying to keep up with this, and it's such a huge project. And apparently the cure for Manhattan that they're trying to do is a giant U that goes around from 34th Street on both sides, like down and around, like a literal giant U-shaped huge wall that apparently by the time it's built would be, ineffective at best.
Oh my God. What about a giant dome?
Hey, that could
Hear me
work.
out.
Yeah.
I've heard of some styrofoam.
What about, why can't they just block off from Staten Island to Brooklyn, like under the Verrazano Bridge? Just make it the Verrazano Dam.
Ooh.
Just dam it off.
Yeah.
Off the whole bay.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think Miami is going underwater first.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Is that the first one, or maybe
I think there
New
are actually
Orleans?
like a lot of United States cities, but New Orleans is like a huge one, where
Right.
it's like levees break and shit goes to hell.
I know Miami. I know New Orleans too. It's just like, it's pretty much a swamp. Like it's already a swamp. Like you dig too deep and it's just water. Like,
Yeah, these oceanfront cities are just, it's gonna be rough.
but Manhattan is built on rocks. The bedrock. Oh, I'm gonna go.
You made a face like you said something so provocative. Like this is gonna open up.
You said it like, as we all know, which I guess we do all know. It must be built on
that's the difference, right? That's why we're not sinking away, because like, it'll go underwater, but it's like the bedrock, it's rock. Whereas Miami is not on a rock; it's just on sand. Does that make sense? Am I crazy?
I don't know enough to know if what you're saying is
true.
Nonsense or veritable.
No, I don't know that the whole thing is one giant rock, but like I know the reason that Manhattan looks the way it does, where like the very bottom, the southern tip is huge ass buildings, and the middle is huge ass buildings.
Yeah.
But there's a huge part that has no big buildings, and that's because those are the parts that the bedrock is directly underneath. So it's like you can just build massive shit for no reason.
But I don't know if that's necessarily true, because in what was it? Did you ever read that book, Devil in the White City? It's really good.
No.
I started it. I never finished.
It's super good. But half of it, is about the serial killer. The other half is about guys that build the World's Fair, and they're these architects around Chicago. And these two guys that built it, they...
Is this hold on, is this a nonfiction book?
It's a nonfiction book.
Sorry? Okay, just sound fictional. Sorry.
Also, Danny, I disagree. New York is built on dreams.
It's true.
Oh, that was really good.
Sorry,
But
so yeah,
these
Chicago.
two architects, because that's the problem with Chicago. At first, they couldn't build skyscrapers or high-rises because it's very sandy soil.
Yeah.
And these guys figured out a way to lay across like a 5-story deep system of grids, like beams underground, and that provided enough buoyancy within this sandy soil that you could build giant skyscrapers.
Wow.
So they were the first. No, it wasn't very funny, but it was still. It is true.
What's the name of the book?
Devil in the White City. I just finished.
I think the name of the book is very funny and worth exploring.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's half about the World's Fair and half about a serial killer, right?
The World's
the
Fair,
devil?
they build these giant white buildings, and they called it the White City. And then the devil is this serial killer, H.H. Holmes. Yeah.
Interesting. You read a lot of serial killer books.
That one I did. I don't read a ton of serial killer books. People really love serial killers.
Yeah, what's up with that?
That is like, we're in the age of like serial killers as entertainment.
Yeah, all the true crime stuff coming out.
Yeah. People fucking love it. And I get it. It's compelling, but I can't do it that much.
I feel like someone has this bit where it's like,
it must be.
or maybe you said this to me, but it's like you can't be a fan of. You can be a fan of serial killers. You can't be a fan of just someone who's murdered like 1 or 2 people. For some reason, that's creepy.
Oh, no, I didn't say that. I wish I did.
You said that.
I said that?
No, who said? Oh, you wish you said that? I don't know.
I do think somebody has a bit.
Credit to someone
about
who said
how
it.
into serial killers we are. I know that.
Yeah.
I can't remember who though. Fuck, I wish they didn't though, because that is just such fertile bit ground.
Well, the weird thing about all these like serial killer documentaries is the ethics of them are so murky, like the Jinx or even like Making of a Murderer, where they really influence events in a way that isn't completely honest, Like I read this New York article about Making of a Murderer, and they deliberately left out evidence that would have made the protagonist of that look more guilty. So they're just trying to like.
Do you remember what?
There was some DNA and stuff like that.
It's like a note that said, "I did it." Like a confession.
He funded the documentary.
They had a lot of footage of him committing all those murders that they left out of the final cut.
Yeah.
I think like that's a weird thing too about, because I love that documentary. Now I'm hesitant to even call it that. It wouldn't bother me. I don't know. It's a weird thing about media and like fiction versus nonfiction. It's like, I don't know. It makes me think about people who are like, oh well, Louis' story. It's not even true. Or like David Sedaris was put under the gun for that because he acts like his stories are all true. I guess they're really not. Some of them aren't, at least.
Yeah.
And it's like, doesn't matter really. Like for a documentary, you want to critique it, but it's like it's still a fun ride.
Yeah, that's all you really want is like a good story out of it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's why I'm glad these people have been killed, okay? I need a good story. I know that you're sad about your daughter, but I need my stories. Please don't play that part.
We're going to loop it.
Just that.
Like,
Yeah.
have you heard that criticism of comics of just like, oh, well, that story's not true. It's a false premise. I have a friend who says that. I'm like, why? Why does it matter?
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I just need like a kernel of truth. And then I'm like, well, if it goes from there, I don't care.
Yeah,
You know?
it's the truth of the like whatever the emotion was or whatever the joke.
Right.
It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be like a historical account of your time at CVS or whatever. Like who gives a shit? Yeah.
Most jokes do take place at CVS, as we know. Those receipts, huh?
Yeah, they're very long. Did you see the? There's one more that I really loved called "Mommy, Dead, and Dearest."
No.
That one is the best one I've seen. It's this young girl who was a victim of Munchausen's by proxy. But it was the most extreme case I've ever seen.
Munchausen's by proxy, that's where, like, a parent makes their kid sick.
Yes.
And it's so they can get attention.
Yes.
Munchausen's is where you make yourself sick.
Yes.
Because the proxy's... Okay, cool.
I didn't
Keep
know
going.
that before the documentary, but then
Okay.
I looked it up.
Okay.
And so she was... The mom had everyone convinced the daughter had cancer and couldn't walk and was mentally disabled and all this shit. She had her on so many drugs she didn't need that wasn't true. And then when the girl became a teenager, she got a boyfriend online. And they started, like, sexting each other.
Yeah.
And then she and the boyfriend murdered the mother, like, really bad, like, gruesomely. But this was, like, the girl's only way of escape. Like, they asked her what's better, because now she's spending 10 years in prison. And she's like, do you miss your old life or do you prefer prison? She's like, I vastly prefer prison.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that's true, because if, like, your mom's telling you can't walk and you're, like, terminally ill, and then you're walking in prison... Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That you were in a prison before.
Yeah.
You know what Munchausen by proxy is?
What's that?
That's when you get your friend's kids sick so that your friend can get some attention.
Is that a thing or is that
I just made it up as a
Okay.
quote-unquote joke. Because I actually have it.
You see, I don't like it when jokes aren't true, personally.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not real, David.
Who says false premise? I mean, you don't have to name names, but is it somebody we know? Or?
Yeah, it's definitely someone we know, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man. I can't wait to ask you who it is.
I'll tell you as soon as it's over.
Wow. Is that on Netflix? I'm going to watch it.
It's on, I think it's HBO.
HBO.
How about the Johnny Got His Gun? You guys see that one?
What's that one?
No, sorry. That's a book by Dalton Trumbo.
Yeah. That is a weird book.
That is a weird
Johnny
book.
Right? Isn't that where the guy gets his arms and legs blown off and the nurse gives him a hand job?
I don't know.
Okay, maybe it's a different one.
I don't know, but what's the
Wasn't
one?
that Forrest Gump?
I'm talking about the one about the pedos. And they kidnap kids.
The pedophile?
Where's Johnny?
Where's
Where's
Pedophiles.
Johnny? Oh.
Where's Johnny? Is that what it's called?
That's Where's
Here's
Johnny.
Johnny. No, that's
No,
what
no,
Johnny
that's Where's
Carson
Johnny.
said.
Wait,
Where's
who
Johnny?
took- who took
Who
Johnny?
took Johnny?
Who took Johnny?
Okay.
That
You
one.
see this?
That I heard that story
Ooh.
on there's another podcast called The Sordid Scale. Another true crime.
True.
A media
True crime.
generator.
Crime is very big on being
yeah,
true.
and they talk about who took Johnny.
Yeah.
That is crazy because that's like a true crime / massive conspiracy thing.
Oh,
so it's
really?
got both appeals where you're like, holy shit, what if this is true?
And this is about a pedophile ring?
It's about a hidden pet, like a kid, this kid Johnny, and then a series of other kids go missing, and then they talk about how the story behind it is it like a massive like pedophile ring that is linked to
Hillary Clinton.
no,
Okay.
the entire Republican Party at the time,
Get out.
going all the way up to when George Bush Sr. was vice president.
Get out.
Yeah, and it like directly involves him and like several
No, Get
other.
Out is a movie by Jordan Peele. It's
Yeah.
a completely different thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, this is not the Get Out. This
No,
is okay.
We're blurring the lines.
What if I did that? I just kept shouting names of movies that I'm thinking
Deep
of while
Blue
someone tells
Sea.
the story.
Oh man.
So, is there any compelling evidence for the Republican?
There is like compelling evidence, but there's also like enough people are like it's ridiculous and absurd. But there's also like, well, maybe it's being made to look ridiculous and absurd. So there's, put it this way, it's the general appeal of all of this true crime stuff that's unsolved is like, well, is there enough ambiguity that you will spend hours thinking about it? Yes.
Oh,
so then you have a
okay.
hit for that genre.
You know, they say
all it
crime
is.
doesn't pay, but true crime, it pays.
It pays hugely. Yeah.
Well, I know there's somebody I know who's a comic who grew up in a cult, and that cult, there is some like weird political connections with that.
Can I ask who?
I'll tell you after the show.
Okay,
I mean,
cool.
yeah.
I feel bad because I think if I meet her, I'm just going to want to ask.
Well, she did a one-woman show about it, so she's
Really?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
We should have a podcast that's called "Tell Me Their Name After the Show." Just lots of personal details.
I've been trying to, I don't want to go too inside baseball, but I've been trying to get this bit to work forever about the weekend that my parents went to Chicago, which is when I was conceived. And I was asking my mom all these details about it, which is pretty weird. Not the actual thing, but just about being in Chicago.
Is the name of the bit called Sam in the White City?
You're great with that, dude. You're a callback machine.
Oh, I forgot what I was going to she said that my dad was like doing stuff because he was like there for like a medical conference, and she went to like some mall and got the Baha'i faith was trying to proselytize her.
Really?
The Baha'is. Yeah.
Aren't the
You
Baha'is?
never hear about them.
Aren't the Baha'is kind of like Unitarians? Like they think everything is true?
I think they are similar, but I do think they have like some sort of like messianic figure.
Oh, okay.
I think. I could be wrong.
I want a religion that is that. Everything is true. It's just bold.
Yeah.
I think that was like Chuck Klosterman talked about it, where he secretly, in one of his books, he's like, I think all religions are right. And then that was like a whole winsome essay that he wrote.
Oh my gosh.
My dad used to always tell a story about a priest that taught a class, and he would say that they're all pretty true, but one thing, there's no hell. He would say there's not a hell.
Interesting. The creator of Breaking Bad said he doesn't believe in God, but does believe in the devil.
Interesting.
Yeah, your
Seriously?
dad-
He meant it?
I think so. He was like he was saying that he just needs to believe that hell is real because there's so much evil in the world,
Yeah.
and that like informed like the writing of Breaking Bad.
Interesting.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think I'm at the opposite end of the spectrum.
Well, I think hell is such a raw deal. I can get on board for some kind of devil. You ever think about that? Hell is a raw deal.
Raw deal.
You're in hell. It's like, man, I got hosed.
It's just you sitting at like a bar, like, ugh. I really got burnt on this one.
Trying to order 24 jalapenos.
Well, better luck next time.
All right, well, that's the pod. Why don't we give our Twitter handles or whatever you guys want to give that's not time-related?
I'm at and David is here, and on Instagram at Raw Spectuality.
Raw spectruality.
Is that new? That's your...
It's been it for a while.
Oh, I never noticed that.
Spell that.
SPEXUALITY.
See?
Raw
I'm
spectruality?
glad
Yeah.
I asked because that's an interesting spelling. I would have guessed it was RAWSPECTULAL.
Yeah, that's what I would have done if I were more clever. But yeah,
I'm at really Sam Evans.
And I'm-
on both of them. That's
And
it.
I'm at Danny Vega Comedy. That's the pod. Thanks, guys.
Bye.